Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Norman Chapman, the short-lived but significant early drummer of the Beatles. Norman Chapman occupies a small yet meaningful place in the early history of the Beatles. Although his time with the group was brief, his involvement came during a formative period that helped shape the band that would later become a global phenomenon. His story is one of quiet contribution, interrupted potential, and the unpredictable circumstances that often surround the making of music history. Early life and musical beginnings. Born in Liverpool, England, Norman Chapman grew up in the post-war era when the city was bursting with young musicians inspired by American rock and roll, skiffle, and rhythm and blues. Like many teenagers in Liverpool during the late 1950s, Chapman gravitated toward music, eventually becoming a drummer. His natural sense of rhythm and his enthusiasm for playing made him a desirable addition to local groups. Joining the Beatles in 1960. In the spring of 1960, the Quarrymen, soon to be known as the Beatles, were looking for a new drummer. At the time, the lineup included John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Stuart Sutcliffe on bass. The group was transitioning from casual performances to more serious aspirations, and a steady drummer was essential. Norman Chapman joined the band shortly after the departure of drummer Tommy Moore. His arrival was timely, as the band had a series of local gigs lined up and was beginning to strengthen its identity. Chapman played several performances with the group during this period, contributing to the evolving sound that would later propel the Beatles onto the world stage. Interrupted career, called up for national service just as Chapman was settling into his role. Fate intervened. He was called up for national service, the compulsory military duty that removed many young men from their civilian lives for up to 2 years. This abrupt interruption forced him to leave the band almost as quickly as he had joined. His departure left the Beatles once again in search of a drummer, a vacancy that would eventually be filled by Pete Best, who accompanied the group to Hamburg later that year, and later by Ringo Starr. Completing the iconic lineup, life after the Beatles. After his brief involvement with the Beatles, Norman Chapman continued living a largely private life. Unlike several early associates of the band who later became public figures due to their connection, Chapman did not pursue global fame or commercial recognition. Instead, he remained a low-profile figure, remembered primarily by Beatles historians and dedicated fans of the band's early years. Sadly, Chapman passed away in 1995. Though his musical career never developed on a major scale, his moment as a Beatle remains a unique footnote in the group's story. Legacy. Norman Chapman's time with the Beatles may have been fleeting, but his role reflects an era when the band was still searching for stability, identity, and opportunity. His brief collaboration is part of the mosaic of people, places, and moments that shaped the early trajectory of one of the most influential bands in history. While he never performed on recordings or toured internationally with the group, his presence during that transitional stage remains a testament to the unpredictable paths that music history often takes. Chapman's name endures as one of the many musicians whose contributions, however small, helped mold the beginnings of a musical revolution.
Bye bye, thanks for watching. Bye.